He's still tuned in to hashtag Africa. Now, Africa Month has seen celebrations from across the continent, but the party isn't over just yet. The African Cultural Music and Dance Association, together with the Arts and Culture Department, are hosting the 15th annual Gwala Ngamasiko Cultural Festival on Saturday in Kliptown, Soweto. The aim is to reiterate the importance of peace, stability, development, and of course, Africa's growth. For more about this festival, we're now joined by Benjamin Mfaba from the African Cultural Music and Dance Association. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Good evening, Rafua and the viewers.
Yeah, let's start with what exactly this event is and what it aims to achieve in all the 15 years that it's been in existence.
Well, its main chief objective basically is to harness the spirit of Africanhood amongst us. And we're very grateful to the Department of Arts and Culture, who has been our partners since 2007 to date. Its main objective basically is to say, let's harness peace in Africa, let's harness solidarity, but more importantly, let's use arts and culture to be able to communicate messages of unity amongst all the Africans in the diaspora as well as the rest of Africa. Because for too long, prior to 1994, you know, our freedom as South Africa, we used to think that we are in an island and often will refer to other African countries, whether East, Central or North, you know, as going to Africa, as if we are not in Africa. So that mindset, part of what we are doing, or Gwala Ngamasiko is all about, is to change that kind of mindset, to say, brothers and sisters from the rest of the continent, they are our brothers. We need to embrace each other. We might be diverse in terms of language, might be diverse in terms of ethnic and cultural background, and so forth, but actually we are one. So Gwala Ngamasiko seeks to harness that. It's about cultural identity. The word Gwala is to say, love Ngamasiko with your culture. Be filled up with your own culture. Bring your culture on the table. Let me bring mine. Diverse as it is. Let's see what are the commonalities, both in terms of language, but more importantly, it's about a spiritual journey. We want to bring back Africans back to themselves in terms of who they are and what they are capable of.
Yeah, and I mean, just to sense events like this, and I'm glad you bring up this unity notion. Yeah. Events like this, do you think they do enough in bringing people together? We've seen the spate of xenophobic attacks and the like, for example. Yeah. Do you think that it is enough to bring about that unity you talk about?
Absolutely, it does. Since 2004, we've had no less than 5,000 people attending that event, and a certain sizable percentage of that is our fellow brothers and sisters from the rest of Africa, those that live here in South Africa, whether they are found in Hillbrow, in Joburg, whether they are found in Sunnyside, in Pretoria, and elsewhere. You know, they do come, and we do go into a camaraderie, because it's not about song and dance. Actually, Gwala Ngamasiko, when it started, it was not during May, which is Africa Month. We started in September. We went to started in August, went to September, and then the previous two ministers, they said, no, let's go back to Africa Month and celebrate and bring prominence to Africa Month. Hence, then we have stayed there. So, indeed, those the audience that comes there, and they do hear the messages. Not only that, because it's not just for ordinary people, but it's for key decision makers, both within the creative sector industry as well as within our government, because it's a government to government. We're very grateful to our government through the Department of Arts and Culture, who engages and through those signed bilateral agreements, you know, all over the country, to say, how do we use arts and culture to promote unity? How do we use arts and culture to promote peace? So for me, it is working, because Gwala Ngamasiko, since 2004 to date, wouldn't be a thing that people look forward to if it was not the case.
And what are people looking forward to? Give us a taste of what one can expect at the festival, as well as why you've chosen Kliptown in Soweto.
Rofiwa, in the main, there's less speeches. In the main, it's about music and dance. You know, where we've got a section where we call it an exchange program. So we basically, the visiting country, for example, we will be having DRC, we'll be having Ivory Coast, and then they collaborate with our South African group, say Bavenda, Chikona group, and then they create a new 10-minute piece. So that, for me, you cross a whole lot of mental challenges, whether it be prejudice, whether it be, a language, whether it be attitude. So to be able to find one another. And we force them, we push them. For example, the Algeria, when he came the other year, you know, they worked with the Setswana group. And they couldn't understand one another in terms of language. But spiritually, you could see that something is happening. So that is one element. So where you see a possibility that we can work, if we can work together through a cultural music and dance piece like that, for me, we are capable of doing anything. The other element is that we engage in a interactive dialogue. So we get a sense of knowing to say people in Uganda, people in Ethiopia, people in Sudan, you know, what's their day like? What are their struggles? You know, I know in the main it's about politics, but just social life. We get to interact and say, what are the possibilities? There have been groups that have been curated from South Africa into the rest of the other countries through the program of Gcwala Ngamasiko. So the reason why we're choosing Kliptown, because it's iconic. I mean, it's the People's Assembly. You know, I don't need to elaborate more. So it brings, we are drawing on the spirit, we are drawing on the strength of our forefathers who congregated there to chart the African Charter, to say what should happen with human beings in Africa.
Wonderful experience. I'm sure it'll be for those who will be attending. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I've been speaking there to Benjamin Mfaba from the African Cultural Music and Dance Association. When we return, Kenya's LGBT community suffers a huge blow. Stay with #Africa to find out.